you condemn Hamas. Say AmIsreal hi. Say you condemn October 7th. You are Hamas. What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hasan Piker, also known as Dr. Jihad, coming to you live from sunny California, Los Angeles, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one, because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is another spectacular 65 degrees and sunny day here in stolen Tongva land, Los Angeles, California. It's Wednesday, March 11, 2026. We're live. We're alive. Number one doctor in Israel, Dr. Jihad Arab. That's right. That's what they call me out there. That's how they know me as. That's what they know me as in Israel. Dr. Jihad. Is petrol expensive in LA? Well, I have an EV, so I don't know. Yeah, that's right. They call me DJ Dr. Jihad. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and ebbies, we're live. We're alive, and I hope everyone's having a wonderful one. But this is the part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news. Is hump day, and not a lot going on. Obviously, I've been spending most of my time trying to manage this Cuba trip, get some guests to still join in last second editions, setting up interviews, and mostly just trying to figure out how we're going to work around the very obvious limitations of the power grid, blackouts, rolling blackouts on energy, rolling blackouts on power, rolling blackouts on the infrastructure, rolling blackouts on telecommunications, and more. But yes. What was I gonna say? Yeah. That's what I've been working on. What the fuck was XQC on about? The problem is, we'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that. Kneecap finally doomed to guest star. What do you mean? DJT is all the highways near my home locked down. I just want to go home. See Mo Farah's charges were dismissed again. Yes, I did see that. Doomed to appear on the Hasan broadcast. Yeah. Give us some sun here. Yeah, no. No sun for you, only sun for us here in Los Angeles, California, the blessed people. Rockets and sirens are on here at Jordan. Stay safe, everybody. Yeah, the region is obviously on fire. As far as my personal news goes, that's pretty much it. There's not really anything else going on. I worked out this morning and I hit 285. I hit 285 for, unfortunately, just for 4. And think about it this way, like I was doing 310 on the squats for like 10. I was like repping them, right? And I can't, because like since December 13th when I had that ankle injury my uncle injury, I have had a hard time recovering on my strength on my lower body. My upper body strength is also diminished a little bit as well, but I'm trying my very best to get back up there. Unk has become chunk. No, that's not a problem. I got a little chunky post injury for sure, but I've actually lost all the weight again. I'm close to getting back to shirtless Sundays, you know, doing my regular nonsense bullshit. It's by May, I think we will have hit like shirtless Hossy time, you know. I've got your semaphore interview lined up for later. Saw Brace was on Curators. Lifting with the injury is always tough. 285 not for bench, 285 for squat. It's very weak. Gained all the weight in your head circumference. Thank you. But yeah, that's it. Operation Epstein's Fury Day 11. Strait of Hormuz closed. Strait of Hormuz remains closed. AmIsreal hits Iran bank. Trump threatens terror. U.S. admits the murder. Schoolgirls. Burger Reich. Get in now. Resident Evil Requiem today. If we have time, maybe, probably not. False flag on Oman. Yeah, I know. I don't think Iran would strike Oman. But who knows? Maybe it's like a random drone, or maybe it's a false flag. I think it's a false flag. Because Oman is like the Oman is the number one like political ally to Iran in the region, right? Even a bigger ally than Qatar is. Qatar has to have good relations with Iran because they share a gas field, right? And Oman, on the other hand, doesn't even have U.S. bases, I don't think. So it would be very strange for Iran to strike Oman. I would go so far as to assume that it's like, you know, Israel doing a false flag or something. And considering that both America has Lucas drones that are literally identical to the Shaheds from afar. Who knows? Fourth Circuit rules that states can compel trans adults to appreciate their lives via care bans. New poll: majority of Americans believe Trump launched Iran war to cover up Epstein's scandal. Oh God, I mean, I'll take it. I'll take whatever Americans fucking believe. FBI warns cops about Iran drone strikes on California. What? FBI has warned police departments in California that Iran wants to retaliate for American attacks by launching offensive drones against the West Coast. That's insane. No. What are you saying? First of all, like, the question I have is, that's the wrong coast. With what capabilities will the Iranians hit the West Coast, man? I'll be honest with you, dude. I mean, this is just like, are we planting a false flag? Is that what it is? This is giving false flag. Okay? Very difficult for me to read this as anything but a potential false flag setup. I'm not gonna lie. The West Coast? Not even the East Coast, mind you. The fucking West Coast? What are they gonna do? What Iranian capabilities exist where they can deploy Shahed drones off of the West Coast? Like what? They sent one of their Armada ships? Brother, Israel's Jericho 3 nuclear strike capabilities don't reach the West Coast. Think about how fucking stupid this argument is. They're targeting Beverly Hills? Yeah, I think it's I mean, come on. This is fucking ridiculous. Oh God. If I die in a fucking psyop, if I die in a false flag, I'm gonna be so pissed. Like, just to get the rest of the goddamn country on board with this fucking idiotic war for Israel. They're trying to hit the diaspora? No, they're not, dude. They're not trying to hit shit. Iran has literally said over and over again, we have no smoke for the American citizens. It's entirely Orientalist. It's entirely racist for the assumption that there is like this notion that like Hamas wants to kill Americans. Fucking bullshit. Hamas has never operated Hamas has never operated outside of the confines of occupied Palestinian territory, and they literally tell people not to do any like lone wolf attacks or anything like that outside of occupied Palestinian territory. Okay, and yet if you ask the average American, they think, oh, well, Hamas does actually present a major threat to Americans. Like, it's fucking bullshit. Same with Iran. Like, Americans do not get attacked by Iranian sleeper cells or even Hamas or Hezbollah. Like, that's not a real thing, okay? The only people that have activated sleeper cells in the country or have, like, instigated terror attacks in this country have been American State Department affiliated Salafist terror groups and you know, groups such as ISIS, okay? Groups such as Al-Qaeda, okay? It's fucking ridiculous. And so many people don't understand that there is like major differences between these groups. Like Hamas is a nationalist emancipatory resistance front. Iran obviously is a whole ass sovereign nation state. Hezbollah is a paramilitary formation with its own political party in the Lebanese parliament. These are oftentimes factions that have fought and to much success fought against ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Al-Qaeda style formations. They're not aligned with one another. But you can't, you just can't educate Americans on this stuff. They just cannot comprehend it. They literally think, oh, it's all the same. They're all Muslim, right? I don't know how to get across to the Americans that like Israel and the United States of America are more closely affiliated with Al-Qaeda and ISIS style groups that have actually successfully struck American territory, successfully actually committed acts of terror on U.S. soil. Like, they are infinitely closer to the CIA, both in their ambitions and in their goals, and play a major role in agitating the Americans into fucking waging war in the region that happens to take out Israel's enemies, right? Like, it's just so stupid that they just see all of these things and they go, well, that's like Muslimic style, backwards, racist, barbarians that just want to kill Americans because they hate our freedoms or whatever. Vindicated like Hasan Abi? Yeah, a lot of vindication left and right taking place as of late. This is a huge story in China right now, given how big of an outcry the installation of this caused back in 2017. Chinese tourism in South Korea was stopped. The Lot Group was essentially shut down in China. Nearly all of Lot Mart's 112 Chinese stores were closed down due to fire safety issues. Hyundai and Kia had to close factories. K-pop disappeared from Chinese media, etc. And now the U.S. is just dismantling it to send it to the Middle East. So quite literally, to have this, South Korea endured tens of billions in economic damage and did enormous harm to its relations with its neighbor and largest trading partner, only for the U.S. to take it back whenever it suited them. The lesson writes itself. Also, collective trade total between the United States and South Korea is like, I think, $150 billion. Collective total trade between Israel and the United States of America is a little bit over $10 billion. Where I don't know. I mean, I don't know if those numbers are entirely correct, considering like how much of American involvement is in Israeli industry. But those numbers are not even close to one another. Like, Korea is massive. Korea is a massive trading partner with the United States of America. Korea is infinitely more valuable from a materialist framework, if you were to look at it like that, as an ally. And same with the Gulf states. Infinitely more valuable as an ally, as a bulwark against socialism, and then also outside of that as a incredibly reliable trade partner. The idea that like we are, we bully them, we do not allow them to have any autonomy whatsoever over their own decision making, and then we just like pull out, we force them into taking THAADs, right? And then obviously the Korean leadership will be like, well, we wanted this because we're afraid of, Chinese missiles or North Korean missiles or whatever, except THAAD launchers aren't necessarily for the artillery barrage that North Korea could potentially deploy on South Korea. It's for missiles that go far beyond, right? Like, it's a deterrence mechanism against China, and yet Yet, at the behest of Israel, in order to defend Israel, in order to defend Israel's ambitions of the region, we are literally fucking over a vassal state that is infinitely more valuable to our foreign policy goals. Now, obviously, I am not someone who is in favor of American empire. I'm just exposing the contradictions here by trying to explain how fucking stupid this is, right? I just want people to understand, like, these kinds of decisions that we are making are not even in line with American interests. They're not even in line with, like, pushing American hegemony. It's so Israel first that it totally drops any investment or any kind of interest that we have in regional stability and regional dominance in the Asian side of the world, the Far East. It's totally ridiculous. I mean, it's been very beneficial for Russia, obviously. It's so crazy. Like, there is really no argument here. There is really no argument to be made other than if you are just Israel obsessed. If you're like an Israel obsessed pervert, then you're like, of course, America's most valuable ally is Israel. We have to do something. I mean, look at Iran. It's so dangerous. It's so scary. It's like, dog, they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything until, like, they were literally forced to, because we assassinated their head of state and their, like, highest religious figure. They were totally willing, to a degree that I consider to be fucking foolish, to play ball with America, to negotiate with America over and over again, time after time, when America showed that they did not actually want to do any real negotiations and they used perfidy and lied about their ambitions to negotiate, and then used that as an opening to, like, blow up Iran as they did in the 12-Day War. And the Iranians were still down. They were still down to negotiate. It's so stupid. And it blows my mind that there's confusion about why we're doing this, right? Like, why this is all happening. It's just, you have to have the most cattle-minded, servile American MAGA hogs that are so inebriated and so incapacitated, so stupid, that they just cannot comprehend that this is being done at the behest of Israel. That's it. And nothing else. Who is more devout, Muslims or Christians? They both have like 2 billion followers. I don't know. And it doesn't fucking matter right now. Pot Johns are coming for the Dems next. Yeah, I mean, it's just unbearable, dude. I mean, yeah, this is friend of the show, 2 friends of the show, Tommy Vitor and Ben Rhodes, talking
House Representatives voted down a bill to stop the war in Iran. Now, Trump would have vetoed it, but it was important symbolically. 4 Democrats voted in favor of allowing Trump and Pete Hegseth to continue this regime change war of choice in Iran, which is just insane to me.
If you vote for the funding of this war, you should be primaried. I don't want you in the Democratic Party. And I'm not trying to be, obtuse or stubborn, but this is a threshold issue. Like, I would like to have a big tent on this party. I think there should be people with different ideas of how to get health care, different ideas of taxation. To me, this is not a left-center issue.
See, this is where Ben Rhodes and I also don't completely align. Okay? Because I don't even agree on that. I think we should have an incredibly disciplined, incredibly organized party apparatus that is straight up, maybe sometimes even physically whipping those votes, okay? So no, I don't. I think there needs to be party discipline. I would give me the Democratic Party. I would run it like a Leninist, okay? There's no more like internal pushback. I mean, they do it already. When you think about it, we already do this. We do this at the behest of capital. I want to whip the party to ensure that the party structure, the output, the National Democratic Party is only working in the favor of the working class. That's it. No more disagreements. We're just doing shit. It's ridiculous. Like the Big Tent conversation. Look, I don't think Ben Rhodes is insincere. I think this is just something he sincerely believes. Okay? I think this is something he sincerely believes. I think a lot of liberals, a lot of Democrats sincerely believe that there is this like real back and forth disagreement that's happening. And those arguments are real and it makes us a better party, all this stuff. I don't believe that. I don't agree with that. I think that all of that is theatrics. It's theater. Okay? It's fucking theater. And the party itself also absolutely is actively undermining spoilers, but not spoilers to the center, not spoilers to their right, but spoilers to their left, right? They treat the left flank as the true spoilers because, let's be real, the Democratic Party is, as a national party, a center-right neoliberal party. It's not an accident that they're consistently undermining their left flank.
This is a right and wrong issue. Morally, what do we stand for as Democrats? If you as a Democrat can't say that I'm against a war and I'm not going to fund a war that is being launched by an authoritarian president illegally with no rational basis that is explained to the American people that has already unleashed these consequences, if you can't stand against that, you don't stand for a fucking thing, okay? And everybody can see it. How is anybody going to trust you to fight for their health care if you're too afraid to cast a vote that someone might call you weak or some donor might call you and complain?
It's an astounding lapse in judgment, I think, to trust Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth to lead a regime change war of choice. With
like, this is what I mean. Like, this argument, I think, falls short of what's necessary here because, like, what? So if it was, like, a competent Democratic leader, should we trust them for regime change? Because, like, the principled stance here, and I like these guys saying this, okay? I make no mistake. They're moving the needle. A lot of liberals are finally like having these sorts of conversations, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, no war with Iran as a starting point is the moral bare minimum, right? No war with Iran. This is ridiculous. Is the bare minimum, but as people who have worked within the Democratic Party, for people to come to that conclusion and for people to openly state that, that's a good thing. That's healthy. That means the conversation is moving in a positive direction. Okay? And there's obviously still a lot of room for growth because, like, I don't even know if Tommy Vitor would personally be on board with, like, regime change in Iran, right? I don't know, but the way that he communicates here makes it seem as though he's open to it. I say no regime change. Regime change can only come from within. That's it. If there's a popular enough revolution and there's real mobilization and there's a real regime change, great. If the Iranian people get their wishes across and they like democratically organize, fantastic. If they have a vanguard party, if I have a Marxist-Leninist revolutionary movement, fucking awesome. I don't care. Right? I don't believe that we are capable of conducting regime change that is beneficial for the public because that's not who we are. We are an imperialist nation, and therefore, and Trump is basically pretty honest about it, pretty brutally honest about it. All of our interference in other countries' affairs is not at the behest of the citizens. It's basically what you're seeing unfold right now, which is death and destruction from above, because we are obviously too worried about doing boots on the ground military warfare. So it's good. I'm glad that there are people who are, pushing this line, right? So isolationism, yes, isolationism, if you want to call it that, which is a profoundly popular and infinitely more successful way to communicate to selfish Americans. I am not a believer in isolationism. I'm an internationalist. However, America, as a capitalist, warmongering nation, is not doing intervention at the behest of democracy. That has never happened. That has never happened, and that will never happen. So yes, I would much rather respect the sovereignty of other nations and be an internationalist. However, having said that, if the only way that we can pull America back from its interventions, I would much rather be isolationist. What is this, World War II? Brother, I don't think you understand. World War III is happening and we're the fucking Nazis. You know that, right? No, you don't, because you live in America and your head is dug into the sand like a fucking ostrich and you're oblivious to what's going on. So yes, isolationism in this regard as the primary driver of instability around the globe would be the best possible option. I built an entire lens of analysis based on these definitions. Fucking cool. Consciousness, the spectrum of awareness, experience, love, the force of consent, help, and hate. What are you saying, man? Please call me an Amerifat. I feel like it's the true Hasan Abi experience. We're all Amerifat. Yeah, isolationism in the interim is just containing American death and destruction. It's overall beneficial for the rest of the world. It's for the greater good. Just a question. I can distinguish between a real revolution and one backed by foreign powers like the CIA and Mossad. I've seen many people during the December Iran protests say it's backed by the CIA and Mossad. And while I don't doubt they had influence, how can you tell this isn't a genuine will of the people? There's never been a protest that does not have a protest that has happened in a foreign country that is just like entirely CIA backed. Okay. The CIA is not omnipresent. So there is real anger and real resentment born out of a foreign government's inability to address the desires and address the needs of its people. This certainly has happened in Iran as well. So it's a bit of both, but it doesn't fucking matter. Okay? It doesn't matter because our goals, the CIA goals or the Mossad's goals here, is not remotely interested in bringing about a liberal, secular, democratic process to Iran. It's not. There are also never any big-scale protests without some sort of external support. I mean, the inception point for a lot of those protests, beyond like the regular reforms that people understandably demand from their government in Iran, is the economic setbacks, like the stranglehold that we have on the global markets, and how we have very deliberately destroyed the Iranian economy. Now, ironically enough, those sanctions that are ruthless, that are an act of collective punishment, have created this unique predicament where Iran actually doesn't suffer as much from blocking the fucking Strait of Hormuz, and neither does Yemen, ironically enough. Like, we have designed an isolated Iranian economy that can withstand the damming of the Strait of Hormuz, because we already don't let them participate in the global markets anyway. Yeah, if America was a part of the Allied forces right now, ideologically, an anti-fascist force, they would be doing to Tel Aviv what we did to Dresden. Like, that's the real story here. So whenever people say, what about World War II? It's like, yeah, that was a just war. That was an honest war. That was a good one, right? But, you know, since then, there hasn't been a single good one, a single valid one. Not even a little bit. Okay? And right now, if we were actually a anti-fascist force, we would be treating Israel not as our most valuable ally or the nation state that seemingly is controlling all of our foreign policy at this stage, but instead as a hostile entity. Was it though, or did the Allies just luck in to find out about the concentration camps? I mean, yes. But that doesn't matter. Ultimately, they were trying to stop a cancerous force that was hell-bent on complete domination of the European continent. It was a valid military action regardless, both against the Japanese imperial forces and certainly against Nazi Germany as well. Turk boy, I just want to congratulate you for educating the stupid Amerifat Westoids. Hope that you can also have more Europeans listen to you. Yeah. Inshallah, one day. Iran has made demands. Things are not going well for America. Although the United States has escalated its attacks on Iran, striking Iranian Navy ships over and over again, lying about Iran mining the Strait of Hormuz, and then taking pot shots at like random go-fast boats they have docked at their coastline, and then, you know, congratulating themselves as though they stopped an actual mining initiative. Iran has yet to mine the Strait of Hormuz. I didn't believe that yesterday when CBS News reported that like American intelligence is claiming that Iran is mining the Strait of Hormuz. The reason why I don't believe that is because there are Iranian ships that are crossing the Strait of Hormuz right now, and there are Chinese ships that are crossing the Strait of Hormuz right now. So mining it would actually not be beneficial for their goals, especially when they can just hold it with, you know, the ordinary weapons that they have, right? It's much easier for them, the Iranians, to control the Strait of Hormuz and, you know, threaten ships that want to pass without getting the proper clearance or have changed their flags to Chinese flags, right? If they were to place these explosive mines, and these aren't just like the old school World War II style mines, right? These are much more sophisticated weapons. They're like little drones, basically, like little swimming drones that look like torpedoes that just hone in on the boats and specifically target like the weakest points in the hulls to like drop them, you know. And they're very different than what you would expect. It's not just like those. I mean, they do have those big ones too, right? They have the regular old school sea mines as well. But if they were to start the mining operations, that would also go against their goals of allowing, you know, Chinese ships to go through, and it's unnecessary at this point. So I think the reason why Trump and CBS at least claimed that there was a mining operation that was taking place was because they wanted to get a W. Like there's a narrative war that's taking place right now where America has to overemphasize its victory. So they want to get like their PR, right? They blow up a couple inactive boats off the coastline of Iran, small go-fast boats, and then they claim victory. Oh, we stopped their mining operation. I don't think they were doing that. I don't think they were mining the Strait of Hormuz anyway. Yeah. You're going to try to do damage control again for someone who lied about being a DSA candidate? What? The adults are talking about American foreign policy right now, chatter. I don't have any idea what the fuck you're talking about. But I hope you get well soon. Okay. It's just leftists from San Francisco, probably. No, because Shikot is not DSA endorsed. I didn't say that he was DSA endorsed. As a matter of fact, I brought up the fact that DSA is not exactly fond of Shikot. Okay, that's what you're talking about. Not that it matters. All right, let's continue.
The U.S. has launched an intense barrage at Iranian Navy ships in and around the Hormuz Strait. Both sides are fighting to control the key waterway for global oil supplies. And the war is making gas much more expensive. If you're driving on the road, you know this. The national average is now $3.58 a gallon. Chief Correspondent Matt Gutman is in Tel Aviv with the latest. Matt, good morning. Nobody likes it when the gas starts with 3 when it used to start with 2. Good morning to you.
Absolutely not, and it looks like this could be getting even more heated. Just a short time ago, Gail, we learned that 3 ships traveling through the Strait of Hormuz, that narrow channel through which a fifth of the world's oil passes, were struck by suspected Iranian drones. That is, U.S. officials tell us that they see that Iran may be taking steps towards laying mines in those very waters. The U.S. military says it's hunting Iranian mine-laying ships in the Persian Gulf, but Iran appears to have tightened its grip on the choke point of the Strait of Hormuz, through which a fifth of the world's oil passes. Just this morning, 3 ships in the Persian Gulf reported being struck by suspected Iranian drones. The U.S. says its strikes have significantly reduced Iranian missile and drone fire.
Ballistic missile attacks continue to trend downward 90% from where they've started, and one-way attack drones have decreased 83%.
But Arab states along the Gulf, including the U.S. bases they host, still face dozens of daily missiles and one-way attack drones. In Bahrain, drone strikes targeted a residential building and an oil refinery, which has been smoldering for days. Dubai's airport confirming it was targeted by 2 drones, which left 4 people wounded.
If the war ended today, would it be enough? Could you consider it a success?
It's definitely not a victory. I have to say that because...
Thank you, CBS. Thank you, CBS, for asking the only people that matter. Okay? Love that. I love going to the only people that actually matter on this issue. You know, the Israeli security guys, okay? Yes, we are doing well, but I would like to continue the war because we have not gotten our wishes across.
The regime is not going to, to capitulate, not in a million ways.
The U.S. and Israel say they have hobbled Iran's military with over 5,000 strikes. In Tehran, video shows cratered streets, body bags are laid out on the ground. And what the regime says was a residential high-rise hollowed out by a missile. Red Crescent rescuers claw through the skeleton of the building, rubble all around. And a new front is expanding. In Lebanon, the stronghold of Iran's main proxy in the region, Hezbollah, which began firing rockets and drones at Israel at the onset of the war, Israel now ordering more people to leave areas it is targeting. The UN says nearly 700,000 people have been forced from their homes.
Like, this is so unacceptable, okay? Israel is not only committing a fucking unjustifiable illegal war of choice in Iran, specifically to destroy this 93 million population country that is a sovereign country, but then they're also simultaneously destroying another vassal state that happens to be a neighbor to Israel, which is the worst possible proximity you can have. Like, there is no other country that is in greater danger than a country that is near Israel, okay? 700,000 people displaced from their homes because Israel gets to destroy all of these neighborhoods. Like, it's unfucking bearable.
And we're also learning more about the costs of this war. A Pentagon estimate says that in the first 2 days of this war alone, 5.6...
Ukraine? No, honestly, like, Russia is obviously a dangerous country as well, willing to get their wishes across militarily, willing to blow up Ukraine, willing to destabilize Ukraine, willing to displace millions of Ukrainians. This is real, right? But for the time being, it's just Ukraine. Israel has done Ukraine times, like Israel's done a genocide to Gaza, right? Israel already has a permanent military occupation in the West Bank. Israel has done a genocide in Gaza that it had hermetically sealed through also a military occupation. Israel then also is taking territory in Syria. Like Europeans, the way they're terrified of Russia, that is a reality in Israel. Like that is the reality of Israel. Okay? Ironically enough, Russia and Israel also very closely associated with one another, but that's neither here nor there, right? Like, but the way that Europeans treat Russia and the fears that they have about this dangerous madman, this rogue nation that's like willing to cast aside international law and take homicidal acts to its maximalist conclusion to militarily occupy a sovereign state like Ukraine, Israel is doing to multiple countries at the same time, right? Israel is such a dangerous entity that everything you can say about Iran, you could say about Israel tenfold. Everything you can say about Russia, you could say about Israel tenfold, right? It's crazy.
$6 billion were just spent on munitions, but there's also a human toll. The Pentagon also saying that about 140 U.S. service members
Hasan
have been
vindication
wounded,
for later.
but they say that most of them have returned to duty. Vlad.
All right, Matt, thank you very much.
New images near the Strait of Hormuz off Iran where
Trump posturing about nuclear war. I mean, this is something that I've been very scared of from the start. America and Israel both, if they feel like they've withstood too much humiliation, if they've endured too much humiliation from a country that we have been able to successfully destroy the economy of for years and years and years, I think that there is the last destabilizing thing that they could do, which is going up the escalation ladder to nukes.
They've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all, they have no radar, their leaders are gone, and we could do a lot worse to one another. We're leaving certain things that if we take them out, or we could take them out by this afternoon, in fact, within an hour, they literally would never be able to build that country back.
I don't think he means nukes. I think like that's speculation. That's speculative. Although it is an option, obviously, it's the final option. I don't think that he means nukes, though. I think he's talking about like the electricity grid, like civilian infrastructure, Because, like I said, if they nuke a country, it's over, right? Like if we nuke a country, the world is over. One nuke launches, and then all the nukes have to launch. That's kind of the principle with mutually assured destruction. Even if it's a non-nuclear nation that you're nuking, you kind of can't do that, right? Like, the way I see it, this incredibly dangerous scenario where Israel feels threatened enough that they're crazy enough to like deploy a nuke, because they do have them, on Iran. Let's say Iran has depleted the Israeli munitions so successfully that they're now literally just hitting shelters with some of their ballistic missiles, and Israelis are dying by the thousands, right? In a situation like that, before it even gets there, Israel would literally escalate and would probably threaten the nuclear option, or might even commit the nuclear option on Iran. What happens next in that situation? Again, I'm not saying this is likely, right? I'm simply explaining to you what would happen in that situation, right? Israel nukes Iran, Russia nukes Lviv or some other like Ukrainian territory, nukes would start flying all around the world, right? Like in that moment, once you deploy the first nuke after Hiroshima and Nagasaki on civilian territory or like military territory on a foreign adversary, every other country that has nukes has to use them. They have to use them. Otherwise, it's meaningless. Otherwise, nukes are utterly meaningless. As a deterrent, other nations would have to use their nukes. No, they don't. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Once the first nuke flies, every other country has to use their nukes. Is this hard to comprehend? Because in that moment, this is how mutually assured destruction works. Because in that moment, like you literally, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's over. Nuclear first strike has happened. Everyone has to start using their nukes. Everyone has to deploy their nukes. First, towards non-nuclear proliferated nations, and then to other nuclear proliferated nations, and the entire world collapses. Even if one nuke was used, there's also the ecological disaster that comes from that as well. And I you know, I'm not super fucking well read on this, but like this is how mutually assured destruction works. Like, you're oversimplifying, Matt. If the U.S. used a tactical nuke, Russia would likely use a tactical nuke on Ukraine, not the big missiles. Oh my God. Yes, dude. But a nuke would be deployed. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter. Do you know what a tactical nuke is, by the way? That's not how mutually assured destruction works, man. Matt is about direct conflict between nuclear powers. Oh my God. I know. But this is a proxy war between a nuclear country with a non-nuclear country. Russia happens to also be engaged in a proxy war with a non-nuclear country. That's what I'm talking about. Hello? And eventually, it would turn into nuclear proliferated countries fighting against one another. It's over. The first country that slings nukes is over. It's just the world is over. It completely collapses. This may not be the case. It may be a radical anti-American, anti-Israeli coalition. Matt doesn't really apply in a multipolar setup with nukes on non-nuke countries. Why would Russia not deploy a tactical nuke, a mini nuke, which, by the way, is still far more powerful than the atom bomb that we used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? When people say tactical nukes, they don't comprehend the destructive capabilities of said tactical nukes, okay? It's not just like a regular explosive ordnance. It's not like Moab. All of a sudden, we go up the fucking escalation ladder and we deploy nukes for the first time since Hiroshima and Nagasaki on a foreign adversary. And everyone that is a nuclear armed nation has to use their nukes in order to show the rest of the world that they have the capability of using nukes as a military deterrent. Because if you don't use them, you lose them. It's that simple. So when people say, oh, it's just a tactical nuke, one, they don't understand the scope, the size, and the damage of a tactical nuke, okay? They just think it's like something tiny. It's far more vast. It's far more dangerous than the atom bombs that we use in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's just not as destructive as like some of the other nuclear warheads that countries have that are even worse than that. It would also probably destroy, it would also lead to complete ecological disaster, even the deployment of like one tactical nuke, so it doesn't even fucking matter. It's over at that point. I don't even like talking about this. It's so stupid to talk about this over and over again. It's extremely unlikely, okay?